This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a good warm welcome everyone. The Bar Stewards Inquiry. Yes, a different voice in the host chair this evening. You might have seen me terrorising clerks of the course up and down the country this week. I did have a proposal from BBC with Newsnight and Match of the Day, but I've turned them all down to stick with my pals at the Bar Stewards. So we're having a spin through the weekend's affairs, having a good look at tomorrow's Easter Friday card and a bit of weekend chat as well. And without further ado, we've got Lee Keys in the opposite seat today, along with John Leng and Nick Davis. How are we, chaps?
Very good. No.
Fine, thanks.
Wonderful.
Good stuff. Well, we've got doesn't sound overly positive, but there you go. But we got a lot to talk through, so I shall kick off with Lee Keys, seeing as you passed the baton on for me today. What have you got for your third best bet?
Right. Feels weird, this, doesn't it? This is like going back to Fridays. You might have to put a big pair of tits on, Jack, or something.
Yeah,
and
I know.
then
That'll
you
get a
can
few more
honestly.
listeners.
Yeah. Right, okay, bet number one then. I am going to the Geordie Hurl in the 407 race there. And strategically, tomorrow, for listeners, I am playing Windfall. It's tailwind there tomorrow, and it's a direct one. Now, I know the mile and two, you're heading down the back, but I don't think they'll lead with this. I think they'll probably look to maybe just slot him in second because he's keen. But I'm very keen on the Michael Appleby train. And horse watchers always seem to get some sort of winner on these days. Penzance, who was certainly on, I think, some of our radars last time out when it beat Magic at Chelmsford. Now they've got him in this sort of form. I always think he is very, very dangerous in races like this. And it's a shame that he's got the £4 penalty. I would have preferred if they'd have probably come straight here, but maybe they were worried about not getting in the race itself. So maybe that was the reason behind trying to win a touch snug as they did last time at Chelmsford. So that's where my third best bet is. Penzance. I don't know what price it is, Jack. About tens?
Yeah, you can have tens for the. What's our old rule?
No, I can't have tens. I can only. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you've got double figures in the place. Billy Hill's 11-1, 10-1 general. I shall give you that one. That's absolutely fine.
I'll take the tens then for Penzance, please. Thank you.
Good stuff. Penzance to Newcastle couldn't be polar opposites. I think you're right there. I think the old horse watchers, like you say, they do tend to assemble a decent team for this day. They'll have had this in mind a while. So possibly a bit more chat on that race later. It looks a good one. Excellent stuff, Lee, to kick us off. John Leng, what have you got for us as your third best?
My third best, Jack, is not until Monday.
Oh, well, that's good stuff. Keeping us on our toes.
It's a bit of a wait, isn't it? Because anybody out there with similar health to me, you probably won't live to see it.
You've just gone fav in the death stakes, John.
Odds on me.
John, I hope this is at your local.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's in the 155, and this is a horse of David O'Meara's called Obito. This flagged up to me on debut, actually, and I was astonished that it was fancied in any way, shape or form. It didn't look anything like ready. It ran at Wolverhampton and didn't look suited to the track either. So there was a variety of reasons for expecting this thing to get absolutely thumped on debut. The fact that it didn't, I took great comfort from. He was strong on the pull-up, and it looked as though this would really walk him up, to be honest. I'm expecting this to come on the proverbial ton for that run, and rather than them going down the let's get him handicap route, I think they're going to be quite positive here. Danny Tudhope has been built for this since God's dog was a pup. They've been very keen for him to ride it. I just think this might be a useful horse in the making for O'Meara, and I think this race might cut up away a bit as well, so it could be a bit easier than it looks at first glance.
150,000 breezer post this, John.
Yeah, it looks the part. It just didn't look the Wolverhampton part, if you get me, you know.
Not many do, in fairness. I mean,
No.
Some of the breeze ups this week, 150k looks like pocket change. I don't know what's been going on there.
And some of the fuckers look like they're only worth pocket change.
Yeah.
Ammo's spent 1.7 on one.
Yeah.
And the dam was in the 50s and the full sibling was in the 50s or something, I look. But
Yeah, he runs like a fucking cartoon character.
some strange stuff going on, but I'll leave that to you boys on Sunday. I'm sure there'll be some chat on that. But no, nice selection, John. I see you've got one of our 5 to follow horses not jocked up yet in the race. Could be a nice little heat, that, in fairness. But good stuff. Nick Davis, what about yourself as your third best?
Well, what a great day it is tomorrow, isn't it? I mean, Good
Yeah.
Friday.
Been moaning about the all weather all winter, and now we can't wait for it. But
Yeah, but tomorrow's a special day.
It is, it is.
These juvenile sort of detention centres where they're all stuck in. Well, this is like they've all been let out at the same time, and these boy racers around these industrial estates with the cars, the sound of handbrakes coming off and tyres screeching. Well, this is virtually all day tomorrow, isn't it? At the
Yeah.
3 all-weather tracks.
Very
The
true.
amount of horses that just had 3 runs. Anyway, I digress. Despite the little concern about the tailwind, I'm going in the sprint tomorrow, the 3:35 at Geordie Land. First thoughts were, there's been so many eye catchers, Heathcliff 5,000 to 1. But watching it back, I thought the Archie Watson train St. Lawrence. Well, if Hollydale been paid for just effort, when you're at work and you try to look as if you're busy, but that didn't look at all. And it's very much a horse that struggles a lot of the time, but comes good on. It's a binary horse. It either wins or comes nowhere. There's not many seconds, thirds on its dance card. If you watch that race back, there wasn't much of an effort made at all. Being that St. Lawrence is twice the price of my original fancies, 5,001 and Heathcliff, I thought I'd go with that. 1 point.
Yeah, former Wokingham winner, if I recall, St. Lawrence.
Yeah. But if you watch that Newcastle race back, it was sort of quite telling.
As you say, Nick, I mean, a lot of these that's why we probably find it so difficult to bet in these better sort of quality heats over the winter. It's just all sighters, aren't they, for tomorrow? So no, I like that.
Yeah.
Very good selection indeed. Well, I better finish us off with mine, which is in the 2:15 at Chelmsford. Not a televised race, but I'm with the Richard Hughes horse Critical Acclaim here. Doesn't look to me like the warmest maiden. They've put Veku in a short price at the top of the market, given a mark of 86. I have that down as a bit of a false mark, really. He was beaten twice as a favourite as a 2-year-old, didn't get the job done, and drawn in trap 10. That's definitely not for me. Christmas Gift, who kind of the flashy profile, I suppose. Balding, who's banging form. Ryan Moore rides for the Coolmore boys, but didn't look like there was much of a first time up pedigree in the family. So I think Critical Acclaim's been overpriced as a result. 2-2s by his name, which I guess puts punters off a lot, but I think there's fair excuses for that. He ran into Tuco Salamanca on debut, who's gone on and won a couple since, and then he was second to Aurora Majesty, who, in fairness, had to run the race and was backed off the boards. The old weighing room jockey info, I believe, in that one. Went off single figures in the green and didn't run its race, but clearly a horse held in decent enough regard. And Hughesy's gone to the lengths of booking Buick for this one, which I'd view as a positive. No Finley Marsh, which is always nice to see. Drawn well in 4, and I'm making my own prices here, so please do flag me if I'm taking the piss. But we're looking at 7-2, 10-3. I think that's more than fair. I'd probably have him a point and a half shorter. So yeah, Critical Acclaim for me to kick things off in the 2:15. Right, coming on to our second best. Who shall I go to this time? We shall go to John Lang. What have you got for us?
Somewhat controversially, off to Cork on Saturday.
That's fine with us. It's Easter weekend. You can do what you like.
Well, yes, we've got a big contingent of Irish listeners.
Yeah.
I think we did the stats, and I think we're about 20-odd%, 25% are Irish listeners.
Be a few of them
There
off
you
the
go.
Cork, I'm sure.
20% of our people will be happy to put their throw in it. Tell them. Yeah, 125 at Cork. Tashia. This ran a super eye-catching debut at Gorham Park, I think it was. Came from miles back. Had no chance with the winner. The winner won 2.5 lengths, but that winner was a horse of Aiden's called Monumental. which went on to finish second in the Champagne State to Bay City Roller, with the fabled and much maligned Aftermath in third place that day. So for me, the form is absolute granite going into this race. I think about 1:30 on Saturday we'll be finding out that Johnny Murtagh still loves this guy.
Yes, no, went off 25-1 on debut. John ran very well, so expect him to step a bit forward here. I mean, any thoughts on what sort of price you're kind of hoping for here or looking to get?
I'd be hoping on about the 3-1 mark.
Yeah, sounds fair. Looks enough in there, to be fair. It's one of those big old Irish maidens where three-quarters of the field won't try, and hopefully he'll be one of them.
Hopefully one of the few tryers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Love this game. He doesn't stop horses, does he?
Yes.
I don't think he would for Arga anyway.
No.
Do what he wants now. Arga's over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about with him something terrible, can't he?
Isn't the Arga like replaced by, and then somebody becomes a new Arga?
Yeah, it's one of those. I think there's the Arga Junior is now the Arga, I believe.
Right.
Isn't the daughter the one?
You might be next in line, John. You never know. Probably want to check.
I think the daughter's like key to this.
No.
Well, we'll have to cope then.
Yeah, no, we
Mercer will run rings round the daughter, won't he?
Yeah.
Mick Alford's been booted, hasn't he? So he's probably got more in there now.
Oh, yeah. He's nearly private trainer, I think.
Excellent stuff. No, well, that's definitely one for our Irish listeners to look out for on Saturday. Hopefully, when you've topping up the winnings from tomorrow, or possibly done your stones, as is more likely. But anyway, we should move on. Lee Keys, what is your second best bet for us?
Okay, I'm going head to head with a certain Mr. Davis in the older age sprint at Newcastle in the 3:35. And again, it comes down to one thing really, very simple reasoning: wind form. I know there's they're not going to go slow here, are they? Let's be honest. But nevertheless, we never stop of Kevin Ryan's. I think he's going to be a banker really to be probably going very close to winning. I mean, he's going to ping out. The wind's behind. He's off the back of a win. There's not a lot for me. There's not a lot to like about this because I still think there's more to come from this horse this year. I think you forget he's only 4. He seems like he's one of them that should be about 7 or 8. He seems to like have been around a fair bit, and I just think this is going to be his year. The problem is, for most of the time when he's been racing at Newcastle over the 6, he's been doing it into a headwind, and that's the difference. Now it's roles reverse, so now you get the help. I certainly think there's a big run there, and it's a very competitive race. But again, we're looking for prices here. It's that kind of day. We don't really want to play favs. We want to try and land a nice winner or two. And I think it's 11s, Betfred, Star Sports. You can get 12 with Billy Mountains. And I thought that's plenty of each way value, especially when you gain the load of pegs, 4 pegs. I think that's one to play each way because he doesn't stop. Well, that's his name. We never stop.
In the name.
So that's my second best bet of the day because everything is in his favour for that race.
Very good indeed. We've got a clash, but no, good for our exactor and reverse forecast punters. That could be a nice touch for us. I shall jump in with the 1:15, the open at Newcastle, the Burradon Stakes. And on the subject of prices, I just feel there's one here who has the form in the book, is fairly highly rated. It's glittering legend, James Fanshawe. He's around the sort of 6 to 7-1 mark, which I feel underestimates him quite substantially. He won the conditions race at Kempton a couple of weeks ago, so we've already seen him. He's in decent order and all that sort of jazz. Finished off his season with a decent nursery win off 90 at Doncaster on the soft ground, which I didn't think he loved that day because he did hang a little bit. But he's already gelded. He's not one of these kind of flashy types who will go off to the Guineas. And you look at the makeup of this race and looking at past winners and such, there's not really been the kind of, you've had Check and Challenge who won it a couple of years ago off one start, but every other horse that's won it's been that sort of tried and trusted sort of decent 2-year-old sort of model. And I do like Beaumark as a horse, I have to admit, but how can you price that sort of 9 to 4, 5 to 2 just off the back of one win at Kempton? That wouldn't be for me at that price. And equally, Titanium Emperor looks short, having just won the one race at Dundalk. So I think tried and trusted form in the book, rating a 104. You've got Royal Playwright in at Fav, who feels a little bit short. I know he had the sort of group form as a 2-year-old, and Andrew Balding is just winning everything at the moment. But I think Glittering Legend is a nice horse, a solid yardstick, and they'll have to run well to beat it. So at the sort of 6-1, 7-1 in a place mark, he'd be the one for me.
Just to come back to that race, totally agree with your comments regarding the race, actually. Burmark, I thought, was a bet at 5-1.
Yeah,
which
me
he was
too.
earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, now at 5-2, all the juice has gone, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Because he's progressive and he might just step forward and go, woo. I like your choice. So, yeah, there you go.
Completely agree. When the markets first formed, I think he was kind of 9-2, 5-1, and that felt fair. But it feels like punters are latching on to sort of Gosden's having a decent week and that kind of thing. But there's no mugs in this field, so I feel it's a decent race indeed. All right, good stuff. Nick Davis, round off round 2 for us, please.
Round 2, we're going to another sprint, this time at Lingfield, the 3:15. This one wouldn't be obvious on its all-weather record of only one win, or indeed the distance. But if you look at its Lingfield record of 2:79.22, a lot of those off higher marks. I think that Silky Wilkie at around about the 8:17.2, it is big there. It's going to get a run now. The last couple of times it's run Anaf close here, and it was second to Ferris, who's now £8 higher. Last time out, it went to Wolverhampton, drawn on the outside. Wasn't that quick away, come on the outside, and the lad give it a few taps that, with the severity Larry Grayson would probably give his poodle. The less said about that, the better. Tomorrow it's drawn 4. Should get away about third, fourth, fifth spot. And I don't think this is as strong a race as some of it's the ones it's contested at its best. Ferris, as I say, is £8 higher. And now Silky Wilkie is down to sub 90, still retains its form. And I think it's going to get a good trip. I would make it around about 5-1 here.
Very nice price indeed, Nick. I mean, Silky Wilkie, I feel like I've been seeing that name for about 10 years. I can't believe he's only 6, to be honest. But thus are the constitution of some of these sprinters. They just keep going, don't they? So for the Midland Park Army that look like they've got a few in the race, Nick, hopefully you've stumbled across the right one.
Yeah.
On kind of jockey bookings, and the other one's out in 11, which I think's pretty short for being out there at sprint at Leafy. So no, good stuff indeed, Nick. All right, well, this is the big round, the lucky 15 round. This is where we send a few punters off into the sunset, hopefully not to the poorhouse. The 3-pointer. And John Leng, what have you got for us? Have you got sort of Leon Parily a week on Wednesday, or anything soon?
Certainly nothing soon, Jeff.
Okay.
I'm back at Cork on Saturday, I'm afraid.
These are like the old pods when John used to nick these kind of funny maidens, didn't he? Good old days. It's nostalgic.
4:55. I'm sticking with he loved this game because he does love this game. And he's got a horse in here called Mocking. He actually did too good a job on this last year and got him a little bit lower than he needed to be, in all honesty. And then he should have had an absolute cakewalk last time, and Mr. Cohen, I think it was, made an absolute balls of it going for a run up the inside at Leopardstown, I think. Wherever it was, he went up the inside and met a brick wall, basically. He should have won. You're really betting on a clear round here. If he gets daylight when he needs daylight, he'll win this. He should end up in something like the King George Handicap at Ascot, this horse. That would be a suitable target, probably with another £10, £10 to £12 on his back compared to what he's rated at the minute.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty useful. He's half bro to Al Kareem of Carl Burks. That's rated 116. He runs off 75 here, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, no, I like that, John. That sounds like one that sort of was on the nearly list for the 5 to follow, I bet, from your side.
It was, actually.
John Mar Racing Purse played up. Who's on it?
Ben Cohen.
Ben Cohen.
Right, he's decent.
Well, that's an interesting one, John. As you say, look, if he's King George worthy, he ought to be winning this and one more after. So.
Oh, no question. As I say, I honestly think you're betting on a clear run, eh?
Maximum confidence from Jonas Lang at Cork on Saturday. Let's hope we've all got a few quid in the bank by then.
And still alive.
And still alive, yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff from our Irish correspondent over there. Nick Davis, what have you got for our 3-point round, please?
A 3 pointer. I've taken on our boss here in the
Oh.
407. The 10 furlong handicap. There hasn't been a horse all year that has impressed me much as Smart Hero did at Wolverhampton that last time. I think he's been spent his life over the wrong trips by the look of it. He got mullered at the first bend, which setting him alight for the next couple of furlongs and a half. This is the longest he's been in his life, and I think even further will suit him. He just cruised around there and he's £9 higher now. But the way he moved through that race and the way he hit the line just makes me think that there's even more to come with him. I respect Penzat's out in front, and he might be the thing. I think about the Glenn Buck Old Arabian form. Glenn Buck's coming back in trip. I'm not sure that's going to suit. He took a little while to get going, although
I agree.
he was
Yeah.
impressive in the end.
Completely agree there.
He took a long while to get going last time out of Southall, and he might just get caught out for pace here, as you know, and he's closely tied in with Old Arabian. But for me, Smart Hero has got to be my bet of the day. I priced him at about sort of 9 to 2, 4 to 1 here, and you can get about 7, 13 to 2, I think.
Certainly like that, Nick. I like the horse myself, and I must admit, I read him wrong. I've taken him on, probably not last time, the time before. I think Lee pointed out he's just one of those that once he's learned to race and relax, he's really sort of improved for the step up in trip. My question for you would be trap 1 with the sort of ride he's going to get, needing to probably get the trip. Is that an issue for you?
No, because they never stick to the rail at Newcastle, do they? Hardly. They always fan out along the track, and someone makes a dash to the near rail.
Yeah, he could be well placed in that regard. No, completely agree. I think both good selections there. You two taking each other on twice, blimey. It's like a bloody game of fight night or something on here, but there you go.
Well, the beauty is our listeners will listen to this and say, right, well, because they'll have their own thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So either think I'm talking shit or Nick's talking shit, or they might both think we're
Both
talking
are,
good
and they back Old
and do
Arabian.
the big reverse forecast. Yeah. We've done it before. These contentious races, we've had
Yeah.
forecasts from them before.
Yeah.
So one of them maybe consider like reverse forecast, things like that pay big for small stakes.
Yeah.
Feels like that kind of day to me, Jack.
No, I agree. I think prices are kind of few and far between, aren't they, in these sort of races? And they're ultra competitive, and either split staking or have a couple on side for you. I don't think that's bad play at all. So no, very good stuff, Nick. I like the confidence. Lee Keys, why don't you bring us your 3-pointer, please? What have you
Yes.
got?
Well, if I were to tell you, it's a filly drawn in stall 14 at Lingfield over 7 furlongs.
What?
Right.
Bloody hell.
You're all going to think I've gone
You
mad.
must be confident.
I tell you what, if she'd have had a better draw, a sort of an easier draw, yeah, I don't think I'd have said it on podcast because I think it'd have gone out on edge or early bird. Lady Manzor of Amanda Perrott's, not a yard I particularly bounce up and down about. Jack Dace, he's got a future, that lad. Claims 7.
Son of Luke.
The good thing is for Jack Dace, he's better than Luke Dace, which does help a little bit.
It does.
Anyway, the history with this filly is that they won a bad maiden 3 starts ago at Lingfield.
Oh, I remember watching that and saying that is desperate, but she's gone on to decent things since then, in fairness.
She's done good things since. She won nicely at Kempton, really nicely, very easily next time. And then last time out, obviously, I'm going back to Time Lord stuff here. I said I wouldn't. But yeah, it was a rather large upgrade she got for that because nothing sort of closed and wasn't able to close. She was the only one with, I think it was Margerson's in the race that come from off the pace and looked like anything. She's so much more to come. Definitely a filly on the up. And I think they'll go really hard here. And I think hopefully if she gets dropped in, she'll win if she gets a trip. I'm that confident. She will win this race if she gets a trip. That's all we're asking for. And I think at the prices, we can get sort of 6 to 1 general Jack. Well, it's 13 to 2, bet 365, 7s Hills. So
yeah, I can see some Billy Mountain 7s.
Each way, mind. It's sort of an each way kind of day. It's one of them. She's going to be flying late, and I mean flying. Will the gaps appear? Do you get the looking running? But these aren't bad prices. We're not taking 6 to 4, 9 to 4, 5 to 2. But with a better draw, I'd have her a strong 5 to 2, 9 to 4 jolly. With this draw, I would probably put her in around 4-1, 9-2, that kind of sort of range. So we've still got some juice on the burn at 30-2, 6, 7, that kind of range. Again, like if you're following me on this particular show, I would recommend you do an each way patent.
Yeah, I'll certainly agree with that. As I said, I think she's really kicked on for those last couple of starts. And looking at the favourite Party Bears, never a horse I've been particularly enamoured by, really. I think that's sort of weak favourite territory, one to take on. So, no, I like that a lot, Lee. We're covering all bases here: Lingfield, Newcastle, Cork, Maidan in 6 months' time, all of them. So.
Yeah.
Very, very good stuff. Well, I better finish us off with my bet, which is in the 150 at Newcastle, which is a 3-year-old sprint. And I'm kind of going against my usual MO, which is not backing one where the stable have multiple entries. But such is my enamor for the horse, I have to go with it. And that's the Andrew Balding trained Humam. I mean, this horse can do. This trainer can do little wrong at the minute. He's had a flying Greenham, flying Craven this week. He's stuck 3 in here, and Jason Watson arguably could be conceived as the third choice jockey booking, which I find odd on the basis of this horse's form. I've been particularly impressed by it over the winter. Taking his first bit of form, he was a half length second to Stodan Hot, who's 7-2 and the favourite in this race off levels. I know Warren Fentiman's a decent claimer and he takes 5 off, but in theory, £6 to give to this for a half length defeat. And he's done absolutely nothing wrong since then. He won at Lingfield, went up to 7. He beat Rebels Gamble at Southall, albeit getting quite a lot of weight, but that horse has gone on to win a listed race. Last time out at Southall, I just thought he was caught back a little bit and was closing at the line and just couldn't get the job done. I think we've had quite a few conversations on this horse, and I feel he needs probably a bit of a test at 6 and probably 7 in time, but with a good bunch of pace on here from a decent draw in 8. I can't see how this horse is he's drifting. He's sort of 15-2, 8-1 in a couple of places. I'd personally have him probably around the sort of 4s, 9-2 mark, really. I think this is a really good bet. And I feel this horse could end up being sort of mid-90s, bordering on 3 figures, really. I love the way they've campaigned him. He's still a colt. There's a lot of progress to come from him, and I'm amazed he's not kind of jockey booking first choice, but I don't know the politics at the boarding yard, so perhaps it's O'Sheen's got a ride for that owner. Who knows? But yeah, I'm amazed he's this price, and he's coming out of a decent draw. I'd want to see him sort of prominent handy, like the 1 or 2 times he's been beat is when they've sort of held him up too much. But when they reverted to popping him out front when he beat Rebels Gamble, that was kind of a real sort of revelation performance. So off a mark of 87, he's got to be a bet for me here, and a confident one at that. Humam for me to close off the round in the 150.
Who'd have said it, Jack, that Hayley Turner gave it the best?
She
the
did.
best ride it's had recently.
I remember you and I talking before the race. You really
Yeah.
liked him. I was on Burke for my sins, and as soon as she popped him out front, I thought, "Fuck me, this is done." I think there's still a fair bit to come from this horse. So
Yeah, whether he wins tomorrow, I don't know, because obviously it's tough racing.
Yeah.
It's all tough racing, but it's good competitive quality racing. But I do think he will get to 100 this season. He's that type of horse. I think he's progressive. He got nabbed last time at Southall. It's kind of strong, tied in form with the Fav Surdan Hot. Cool Angel finished behind Surdan Hot at Lingfield, and it's one of them. He's right in the mix there. The only other thing, the other Balding runner's interesting as well.
Yeah, I thought that looking at that race.
Anyway, we might come on to it, Jack, in a minute. I'm taking over. I'll shut up.
No, that's all right. We might as well carry on because I wanted a bit of a spin through this TV stuff, and that actually kicks us off. So, no, do carry on if you've got an opinion.
Yeah, let's do it then. So the 150 race then.
Yeah.
Surdan brings solid form to the table. The yard are very shrewd. They've gone back to Fentiman to take off the other 5. Right, very shrewd, because you go up 6, like with Mitchell on, and then you take 5 off with Fentiman, and then in essence, you've left yourself well handicapped for the big pot. But again, it's priced accordingly. Like you say, whom I'm a big fan of, real big fan. Berkshire Whispers, big claims. I don't think we've seen the best of good banter yet, because at Lingfield it was out the back over the 6. They stuck the lot on it at Southall. It was too keen. We might see that step forward. It's a great race. Carbine Harvester is now drifting. That's the weak link, because now surely that horse is now
You'd think.
well above his mark. I'd
You'd
have thought.
think.
Yeah.
I quite like Bones's in there, to be honest, but Trap One sort of and Riding Star with the tailwind put me off. But it sounds silly given that I've had a kind of confident 3-point bet. But you could be with a few of these. It's that kind of race. I think this will be really solid form to take on for the season.
There's nothing wrong with being strong at a price, though, is there? Like when we do these shows, obviously when we tip on a living in terms of edge and early bird, you've got to manage people's money, if you like. You don't want them to go on big losing runs. But the fun about these shows is we can unleash, because we can say what we really like, but they maybe not make edge bets or early bird bets because we don't want 47 losers on bounce.
No. We'll take 46 though.
yeah, 46 will do, not 47.
Good stuff. We might as well have a spin through the 205 at Lingfield, the all-weather Vase middle distance handicap. I didn't have much of opinion here, if I'm being honest. Has anyone got much to add?
Nick, your race here, surely.
Or is this one we want to hold back and not talk about, in fairness?
No, let's advertise it.
This will be going out after early bird, won't it?
Yeah, so sign up, extra listeners.
Yeah, you can have the 5-1. It's now double that.
Nick, you've got the dance floor here, I reckon.
Yeah, go on,
this
Nick.
Is it. Go on.
This is this has had the obligatory 3 runs for Ian Williams since joining, and it seemed to come alive last time out. If anyone looks at the race back at Wolverhampton and tells me why this is twice the price of Mr. Blue, I'd like answers on a postcard, please. Especially as Mr. Blue was backed off the boards and hammered home, and this one, although ridden, didn't get the whole lot of everything thrown at him. Ex-Appleby, quite well tried as last year in early. Doesn't look to be much on the turf, but this looks very, very interesting tomorrow. And the price won't be there. It's about sort of 11s, 10s. It won't be there by the time you hear this.
No, you've been round the shops in your three-wheeler, Nick.
I can't get on in the shops anymore in the three-wheeler. They've done me.
Oh, those were the days.
Nick, I'll say something, though. Like, you think like Ian Williams, I reckon, because if you were trading this, you've ran it last time and you've looked at prize money and you've gone 5,234 for the winner. And then you've gone and looked at this, it's 33,000 to the winner. That's a Nick Davis thought process if I've ever seen one.
He's done what I wanted.
We talk about this, don't we? Trying to put your eyes in the trainer and pick the right races, and when they end up in them, you've got to back them. So, no, I like that a lot, Nick. That's a very good selection indeed. The 225 fillies and mares. Now, I've got fuck all opinion here. Does anyone want to offer? Should we skip that one?
Unless John's got anything.
John
likes these.
John loves these, yeah.
No.
Confirm my suspicions. All right. Well, the 240 then at Lingfield, the all-weather Vase, the 1 miler. Friend of the show or former friend of the show, Dragon Icon here, top of the market with Blue Prince, who was narrowly defeated last time out. Again, personally, I found Lingfield really tough tomorrow. I daren't have a bet there, to be honest. But did anyone have any thoughts here?
Look, I like mile handicaps, but I found this and the next one at Newcastle absolutely fucking impossible. I can't see ways in at all, to be perfectly honest.
John, wouldn't you like either own or train Blue Prince and actually like race it properly? Hey, this is a really good horse, Blue Prince. Really,
it's a shame.
It's a proper Saturday horse, and just look at it. It just don't miss a dance. It's on go all the time.
Dangerous Dave.
What are you doing? It's like there's no plan, is there, John?
You just swear, really.
Spaps it out every week, doesn't he? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is one in here I was madly interested in, actually. Billy the Kid's had a couple of fail-ups from Claire Cobler.
Hey!
Good old Helm Rock.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Lampard's won't be happy.
I don't think this has been terribly busy the last twice, to be honest. I think today could be the day for this one to get busy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he outran it at 16th to 1.
Weren't disgraced last time, would it?
No.
The only thing, I think the stable's very quiet then. We only had 9 runners, haven't they, in the last couple of weeks?
If Daniel goes in the box just after it's saddled and stares at it for 90 seconds, I think he'll put the shits on it.
Oh, dear.
Sous la Neige for Gavin Hernon in France. What's that doing in here? That's interesting. Something the snow, I think that is. That better off be running at Newmarket, I reckon.
He might have a lady in every port.
Could be.
It's like
could
Davis. Davis, Alan Wicker. He blasts round Europe, blasts round Australia, and it's like, yeah, met a girl there once. You know,
be. Yeah.
That was a long time ago, lads.
like,
You know.
yeah.
Only thing I do 5 times a night now is go to the Carsey.
Yeah. I know Mrs. is listening, Nick.
Save that one for post show. Keeping on the topic of mile races, the 3 o'clock at Newcastle, as Nick alluded to, this looks an ultra competitive heat. Roy de France, in theory, has got box seat potentially on the rail and got the ultimate fucking float up last time out, I thought, at Kempton. Clearly well handicapped. I think this is probably a group horse, but I don't know. It feels like a hard luck story in making to me at kind of 4-1. I certainly wouldn't want to be betting him at that price. Has anyone got a view here?
I went round and round this race. I mean, Popstar's got a pull with it. You've got a few in there. Thimble of Light should go forward here, but I'm not sure about about some of the pace there. Stormstar's unbeaten there, I think, isn't it? All the last couple of twice. You got the thing over from Ireland. You've got Destructive, who I backed last time out is really, really, really progressive. Kingdom Come's got the form to make a comeback. It's got that. I just crossed it and went up too hard in the end.
Yeah, I thought if any, Kingdom Come was the interesting one at the price. Like he held his form quite nicely, and Marker 103 there's not much juice in it, but he can be an all-weather monster on his day. And he's probably drawn in the right place to do so. But double figures, probably a bit of juice there. But I don't know. It's a tough old race. Lee, John, any views?
Wind form. That's all I've got to say.
All you
on
got,
the-
win form.
Yeah.
You could never make or break Clive Cox's season, wasn't it, by the look of things? Half the yard seems to be out. I thought Kingdom Come might run well. Decent box, good patient jockey who won't go for it so soon. Should be running on it well at the death. Each way prospect.
Yeah, it feels like a kind of fast running second, doesn't it? Like it's one of those sort of bets. Maybe one for your place market boys on Betfair. Excellent. Gosh, there's a lot to bloody go through here, isn't there? The 3:15 at Lingfield. Any views there? Feel free to say no. Nick's already put up Silky Wilkie. I haven't got a view. Any opposing views there, or we rowing in with Nick?
I found nothing.
Nothing.
I'm happy to side with Nicholas at any point in the season.
Good job. You've saved the producer 5 minutes, so that's always good stuff. 3:35. Now, there's been some opinion in here. 2 of our esteemed tips have put ones up in here. I have to say, 5,000 to 1 was my nap of the entire weekend until I got the dreaded win form message from Lee Keys here. This horse is so well handicapped, and he's been absolutely plotted for this day pretty much since he ran first last year. Like, been a year in the making, but you just feel he's going to be caught too far back, and again a kind of fast finishing second or third. Like, you'd have to make a bit more of him really for him to win, but I can't see it happening, sadly.
Interesting, they backed Heathcliff into favourite because that was another one that's not been off a couple of times, but that's now favourite.
Do you think that's Kathy, Nick, that's backed it?
Could be. She just come on.
Boom, boom.
Fucking hell. It's terrible, isn't it? It really is bad.
She came in the window.
And really bad as well. Sorry. I'll shut up.
John, I love this game's even chuck one in here.
When he knows this game, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You don't try to participate in this game leaving them at home, do you? You know, you gotta be there in the money.
Yeah, Damber Diplomat. I don't know how you say that one, but
You said it like that. I'm sticking with Happy Tim here just because he seems as though his houses are full of it at the minute.
Tell you what, Happy Tim, the old Happy Tim second, even third time up system at this time of year was always profitable. But he had a fucking 2-year-old nearly win the other day. I couldn't believe my eyes.
I think there's been a little bit of reorganisation at Great Hampton.
Yeah, they've Simon House. He's watching Tipping Point now.
Yeah.
He's not doing it anymore. That's probably why they're good.
Farmhouse Kitchen reruns.
Tipping Point makes everyone feel better because you can answer most of the questions, so you think you're a clever cunt. That's how you boost your mood on a daily basis, I think.
Yeah.
And then when they get it wrong with counters, plopping them in, you can say, well, you silly cunt, you should have hung on 9 seconds and you'd have got the big star bar thing, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Ah,
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent indeed. Well, next up's the Phillies handicap that Keys has tipped in. I'm not going to bother with that one. I think we'll just row in with him because I like his case.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone else has got an opinion. So the 407, in which we've equally had a couple of tips in, we've had Smart Hero from Nick and Penzance from Lee. I find it hard to disagree with both of your cases. I think the one point I would take is that I feel Glenn Buck is going to be not stretched, the opposite of stretched. I think this trip's too short for him. He's really kicked on over the 12, and whilst there probably is going to be a good pace on there, I think he might struggle. So, that probably is a fav to take on. Old Harrovian, he's one of those horses. He's clearly extremely talented, but you just don't know what sort of day you're going to get from him, do you?
Going to be dropped out, and
Yeah.
you'd think, maybe not definitely, but probably, especially because he's drawn wide.
Yeah.
They need to settle him early. That's the main thing.
Hmm.
And then you think with the tailwind down the straight, he ain't getting there.
I think you're right. I mean, you have got upgrade probably in the form of £20 from Callum Hutchinson to O'Sheen, but even he's not been riding that well this week, I've not thought.
I'll tell you what, you say that, right? I've watched O'Sheen a couple of times today, and he was on John's.
I know, I backed it. He was very weak on that, I thought.
Well, this is it, right? I don't think it was a question of being weak. I don't know what's up with him. It were a flick of the whip, as if it were there for a prep. You'd said that were a debut ride, not a second time out ride.
No, I thought that.
He was limp. The first sort of crack whip, it wouldn't knock flies off a bucket of shit. Proper namby-pamby. And then he's just hands and heels, through line. To be fair, it might do horse good, like in longer term. Don't do punters good at
no, not me.
At 3-1 second fav. There was plenty to like about it.
Lee's got better eyesight than me if he can see he was fucking limp.
But I agree with you, Jake. There's some rides O'Sheen's given recently. He's like turning into Norman Williamson. It's just nothing from saddle. Like there's no power pack drive you associate. So with Ross Ryan, and you've got that power pack drive, haven't you? Like in a finish. It's proper body momentum, everything. O'Sheen, it's like this Charlie Deutsch kind of motion.
Not sure he's asked anymore. I think if there was a champion jockey market, I think Ross Ryan's probably one to be with this year, I feel.
I think O'Sheen has replaced the theme music in his head.
Go on.
Go on.
I think he was originally riding to Rock Brigade by Def Leppard. And now he's riding to Rondo alla Turca, which I think was Mozart.
Bloody hell, John. This is knowledge. This is beyond me. Fucking hell. I'm going to have to play that now.
As ever, the educational podcast we are.
He's going to make me play that now. He's like that.
There's a scolder.
Yeah. So everyone's playing that now, aren't they? Like thinking, what the fuck's John on about? Yeah.
Mix things up a bit. The 4:30 at Chelmsford. Decent looking condition stakes this. Got the Shirt Sky Majesty off the back of 3-1s in at favourite. Tom Marquand's gone down there to ride. An obvious favourite. I thought the fly in the ointment here was Anderseat, who obviously won very well on debut, missed the Coventry, turned up in awful condition, I thought, in the gym crap. We were all there, and he just looked like he'd never seen a racecourse that day. Off again since then, but I'm convinced there's a horse there, but it's whether we'll see it tomorrow. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's one of them, really. I'd be interested to hear what John thinks about anything physically. I always copy John's notes into my Racing Post. I know he doesn't like Jouncey very much, at Baldings. John, what do you think makes like a 3-year-old out of that lot?
I'm very, very interested to see Anderseat because I felt like he looked like, at the gym crack, he looked like one of them, you know a horse's suit where you got two blokes in. but the blokes had bailed out.
It's just like kind of like if you put me and Keys in there after 4 bottles of Burv.
Yeah, you made him there, but then you fucked off. He looked hollow, and I'm expecting to see a much improved physical version tomorrow. Another one that I thought would go well over the winter was Liberalised, the James Hawkins. Quite curious to say that one. It's very, very weak in the bet. It's gone from Carl, but I felt Carl was quite hard on this last year. Because I didn't think he was ever properly there physically. And I thought it was very interesting the mode into James. and he ran pretty awful the first time up again. He was well beaten. I still think there's some hope of a revival there with that one, and I don't think this is a great heat, to be honest. I could actually see Andesite, if he's made the progress, actually proper copping these fights.
Yeah,
you know?
I think he's a standout, really, but you're betting on what you hope he's going to look like, really, at this stage, aren't you? You're sooner off
Yeah,
waiting to see him, backing
yeah.
him at 4-1, really.
If Andesite turns up looking like the gym crack there, Sky Majesty's probably an okay sort of
Yeah.
bet. If he turns up looking like a proper fucking 3-year-old, I'd lay Sky Majesty all day and all night.
Yes, agree with that. No, it's interesting that they've all the better kind of jockeys. I know they've got various retainers and things like that, but they all seem to be at Chelmsford tomorrow, which is odd.
They'd be handy for a night on the piss for them.
Yeah, down in Brentwood or something like that.
Yeah.
Ricky or Basildon, yeah, that great.
They won't be doing anything for professional reasons. will
No,
they?
I wouldn't have thought so. But then you thought O'Sheen would be there, and he's not. So, but then the Toon's a decent night out in itself. So good stuff. And we'll finish off the 4:42 2-mile race. I said to you lads earlier, I've self-excluded myself from all-weather staying heats because I'm just fucking sick of them this winter. So I shall hold off any opinion. But Nick Davis, this is your sort of heat. Have you got any view?
I mean, it's really not my sort of heat. I looked up and down, and I thought, no. And once I looked at Tritonic twice, I thought it was time to take a Nurofen, and that was it. I honestly gave up with this heat.
From my perspective, it's kind of easy to play if they crawl because Duke of Oxford has got the best turn of foot of anything in the race. That's how he thrives. He does stay, but at the same time, he's got more turn, and that's what's won him the last 2 races at Kempton. Could argue £5 for winning 2 nice races. It's quite kind of lenient.
Like, you wouldn't have thought that because I've dibble-dabbled with him a bit this winter, but you'd have thought they'd have just sort of not been trying with him, but sort of clearly have. So clearly just sort of not asked, and they think there might be a bit up the sleeve. I don't know.
He's one of them that he's made me a right few quid in running, Chris Paul. And yeah, what people look for is like they just go, oh, fucking hell, they're walking around. And he's won off 111% held up. So that tells you all you need to know, that he's got enough gears. So if they mess about and he's probably sat reasonably enough and not pulling or anything, I think that's your angle. Because honestly, his foot is way good at this trip. It's a good sight to see.
What did we make of the Irish one?
Ado McGuinness, Tribal Star.
Yeah.
Well, I was on about this last night. Stephen Thorne landed a punt yesterday in Ireland, and I'm certain it was on the juice. I'm certain, honestly.
Yeah, he's the ex-assistant who's kind of 40% over the winter, and God knows why, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sounds legitimate, that.
And a lot of Ado horses seem to end up with Stephen Thorne.
Yeah, he was his former assistant, I believe.
And do you remember, like, Ado at one point were just shitting winners, and especially when money were down. If they've managed to get hold of the juice, again, it's one of them, really.
Watch for your Betfair sort of fire emoji and then pile in.
Yeah, it's one of them, Jack, isn't it? I've seen it. That one in Ireland yesterday, Gowran. Fucking Jesus. And it's a 12 star. It's more exposed than Katie Price, right? And all of a sudden, it's bolted up by about 7 wicket and running down back straight like it wants to ground again. And you're thinking, that doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. You can't do that. But it did. And there was fortunes of cash for it. So if these lads are back on the old Toad Venom, Cobra Venom, Cobalt, Stroke, whatever, Kildare juice, it might be just worth a butcher's in the market for Tribal Star. I agree.
Well, hey, look, I'll go up and interview him, and then I'll get him sacked. That's what I do. So, anyway, that was a nice way to close out a brilliant podcast. We've gone through a lot there, some lovely selections across the board through the weekend, and have a excellent Easter from all of us at the Bar Stewards. That's all for now. Cheers.